Evidence in employment disputes. That is the subject matter of this podcast. Hey, it's Terry Gorry, and this is the Irish Law and Small Business podcast. So let's talk about evidence in employment disputes. Employees come to me all the time with disputes with their employer, and they may have brought a claim to the WRC or the Labour Court, or they may be thinking about it. And in the discussion, in the review of the situation with me in a consultation, we look at what they're claiming. We'll also look at the prospects of winning. And in order to assess the prospects of winning, we have to look at the evidence. An employee or anybody, any person involved in a dispute can make any sort of an assertion or an allegation or a claim, but the claim or the case will only be won if the claim, if the assertion, if the proposition is proven. That gives rise to the question of evidence. What is evidence? Employees then who tell me, for example, that they've been bullied in the workplace, say they can prove it, that they've kept a notebook, or they have emails that they sent, and so on. But you must be able to distinguish and differentiate between keeping contemporaneous notes for yourself, for your own aid memoir, as it were, and evidence. So you sending evidence, or an employee sending evidence to the employer about something, is really only evidence of the email being sent, if indeed it was an email. It doesn't actually prove what was claimed in the email. It does prove you've sent an email, but that's as far as it goes from an evidential basis. Likewise, it's a good idea for anybody who's being bullied in the workplace to keep a notebook of all the allegations or the incidents, the dates, the times, when somebody did something or when the bully did something. That is critical, important, and it's obviously very, very useful later on then when you go to put forward your claim to the WRC or wherever else you might end up. But again, keeping that notebook is a notebook for you. It's a notebook which will be of great assistance in helping you put together your claim, your assertion. But it won't of itself prove anything, simply because the fact that you made a notebook or you made a note simply is proof that you made a note. Now, maybe if you do it often enough, it'll have some persuasive effect, insofar as somebody might say, well, unless that person was completely lunatic or raving, they wouldn't be keeping all these notes. But without being some smoke without fire, etc., etc. But the bottom line is, it is only evidence of you having made a notebook or made a note. So you do need to be aware, mindful of the difference between making notes and sending emails and sending letters perhaps, and making the mistake of claiming that this proves X, Y, or Z. It may not prove X, Y, or Z. It may only prove that you actually sent a letter or an email or made a note. So you do need to distinguish between making notes for your own case, as it were, and to assist with you giving evidence perhaps later on, and to gather all the facts and so on. You need to distinguish between that and hard evidence. Evidence would be, for example, if somebody else said, yes, I saw him bullying her, or I saw her bullying him, or there's written evidence of it, like an email that would be, or a series of emails, for example, from one person to another, which would be showing evidence of bullying behaviour. But you're unlikely to get that type of evidence unless somebody's very foolish in sending their emails. Anyway, I hope you can distinguish between the two. Thanks a lot for listening, and don't forget to subscribe so that you won't miss an episode. And I'd really appreciate it if you'd leave a review on Apple's iTunes. It gives great encouragement and lets me know that I'm on the right track. Thanks a lot.